turned up in my dad's suit, shirt, tie. I got to the front of the queue and I was basically told to fuck off. Right? I looked at everyone else in the queue and realised it's just jeans and a t-shirt. Yeah. My most popular one was Tuesday nights at Paradise Factory. Legal capacity was 600 and we used to get 2,500 people turn up queuing around the corner. First night the police came in to have a look at what was going on. They put their arms on each other like that there to walk around, and the customers decided to turn it into a conga. They came in, they bought beer, ripped the cans in half and used those as blades and attacked each other. This is why we had to stop selling cans. Sadly, someone lost their lives at Warehouse Project, became poorly on site, we got into hospital, but very sadly he didn't make it. PR company at the time said to me, we'll put 2 sentence statements out, and I thought, I'm not having that. Somebody's died. The following day my mum was walking through Altrincham, big bold letters, Super Club Death Boss speaks out. So I thought, well, fuck all of you. There was one night where a guy said, if I see you at Parklife, I'm going to put my foot on your neck. Rachel Reeves was devastating for our sector. She put the national insurance up. Since then, we've lost 124,000 jobs in the sector.
The use of AI is crazy.
I hate ChatGPT and all that stuff. It's appalling.
So Andy Burnham, our Prime Minister, it feels like he's the closest Prime Minister that we've ever had.
Because we've now, for the first time ever, got a PM that does give a toss about Manchester. This is going to be our Manchester moment.
Hi and welcome back to another episode of I Shouldn't Say This, but my name is Katie Leeson and we are here in the beautiful Molly's in Manchester. Big thanks to our sponsors, We Are The Allies. Today's guest doesn't really need an introduction, but Sacha Lord, he has created some of the best experiences that we've had in Manchester. And I sat down with him today to talk about his journey, how he got to where he got to, how he felt after he'd sold the Warehouse Project and Parklife, the conversations he has had with Andy Burnham and his wife post-Dressgate, and his plans for the future. Plus, we just have a really great chat about how Manchester is having a moment. His belief is that 20 years' time, we'll look back on this as one of the pivotal moments in Manchester history. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of I Shouldn't Say This, But. Sacha, welcome to I Shouldn't Say This, But.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, honestly. I really think you've told me before to push you, so
yeah,
let's see where this goes.
Okay.
I want to start, I always go back to people's starting point in history, and I know you put in your book that your mum said you've not had a proper job.
Correct.
What would have been a proper job, do you think?
I think it wasn't just my mum, it was my grandma, granddad as well.
Okay.
Probably an accountant, just something really boring.
Was that their expectation?
I think so, yeah. So I was pushed very hard to go to a good school.
Yeah.
I did go to a good school. I went to Manchester Grammar. But I was well out of my depth. It was manufactured actually to get me in there. So I had a tutor Monday to Friday leading up to the exam to get into Manchester Grammar, and he gave me what he called 100 colourful phrases. So bearing in mind, I'm 11 and I can remember things, and I remember these 100 colourful phrases. So in my essays to pass Manchester Grammar, I was writing things like, I awoke to the sun's vast vermilion orb, and I fell asleep to the moon's incandescent pearl. I'm like,
wow,
an 11-year-old writing that.
Coached.
Yeah, coached. So I passed it, got in, and now, it wasn't good for me because I was always in the top 3 in my previous school, and I was consistently in the bottom at Manchester Grammar.
How did you find school then after you moved? Was it easy, tough?
I didn't enjoy school, but that's not knocking the school at all.
Yeah.
I was just well out of my depth, completely out of my depth.
And what age did you leave?
I left MGS when I was 17.
Okay.
And my first job was in a clothes shop in Goose Green, Altrincham, which is the original Flannels.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tiny little shop.
Oh, wow.
£20 a day.
Gosh. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I found the customers fascinating. All the wealthy people from Hale and Bowden coming in, and enjoyed the conversation. But my 20 quid used to be eaten up most days by Spudulike for lunch, and then sweets first thing in the morning.
Well, I had someone in before. We were doing another recording, and then Ruth, the PR, came in, and she said she used to work for 20 quid in a shop, but she used to work in the shop so she could get on the guest list at Hacienda. That was her reason for working in this shop.
Which shop was that?
She didn't say which shop it was, but she said that she used to work there because it used to get her on the guest list for Hacienda. Yeah. Okay. And that was her reason for doing it.
A good reason.
A great reason.
Yeah.
So you were working in clothes.
Working in clothes.
And then what
happened? I came across, I can't remember how I came across it, but I came across a warehouse in Wakefield.
Oh, okay.
That made, do you know Wakefield?
Yeah, my dad's from Thornhill Lees.
He doesn't own Wakey wines, does he?
No.
Okay. No. And then they manufactured all the leather jackets for Next. But literally, if a button was missing or the zip was slightly faulty, you could buy them like for 30 quid or something like that. So I'd buy those jackets. My mum would sew the button on or sort the zip out, and I'd sell them on market stalls.
Oh.
And that was my first little foray into business.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
How long did you do that for?
About 2 years.
Well, okay.
And literally I used to go to the Hacienda or 21 Piccadilly or Discotheque Royale on a Saturday night. They close at 2 in those days. Yeah. We used to go to the airport after that and have like a coffee or a hot chocolate or something until like 3. It was the only place you could go to. And then you had to have a couple of hours sleep and then straight off to the markets.
So you weren't selling at the Hacienda, you were actually going to the Hacienda. I thought you meant you were taking the jackets to sell, like an outside.
Although one of my friends at the Hacienda had a tuck shop there for 3 years.
A tuck shop?
A tuck shop upstairs on the balcony. They used to do well for obvious reasons.
Well,
He sold chewing gum.
Okay,
ice pops.
Yeah.
But he never had permission. He just turned up, did it, and every single one in the management thought, well, he must have been given permission to do it. Didn't. Set up. That. And then one day got clocked after 3 years.
That's for forgiveness, not permission, that is, isn't it? So you were doing that. What got you into nightlife then? Because you were going, did you see?
Yeah, so all the cool kids at MGS, all the sixth forms were talking about, the Hacienda this, the Hacienda that, and this stuff. So the first time I said to my mate, Pete Armstead, I said, look, we need to go to the Hacienda and see what this thing's all about. It was 1989, so I'd be 17. It was at the absolute peak. 88, 89 was the peak Hacienda. So the first week I turned up in my dad's suit, shirt, tie, because I thought that's how you use it. And I got to the front of the queue and I was basically told to fuck off. Right? So I looked at everyone else in the queue and realised it's just jeans and a T-shirt. Yeah. And we got in there and it was do you know how people acid dance, with the silly arms? It was all that kind of thing with paint and stuff. So we were looking at each other thinking, we're not doing that. This is nuts. Within half an hour, we were doing that on the dance floor. The energy just took us. And I think it was probably 6 months later, we realised we were the only people not on ecstasy in the venue. And it was so fun. So that first night, the police came in to have a look at what was going on. And they started to snake around the place because Hacienda was quite intimidating.
Was it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. You'd have different fractional gangs dotted around the place.
Okay.
So you had to know what you were doing. And the police turned up and they put their arms on each other like that there to walk around. And the customers decided to turn it into a conga. So there was literally 300-400 people doing the conga around the Hacienda, and both me and Pete were like, this is brilliant. Never seen anything like it before.
That's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. So you used to go to the Hacienda?
Yes.
And then what was it that got you into actually working in it? Because you were going as a customer.
Going as a customer, and I just thought, bearing in mind, it was Manchester period.
Yes, yeah.
And we'll come on to this later, but I actually think in 20 years' time, when we look back to now, I think we're having another Manchester period.
Interesting, because
I think we're going to look back at this period where we've got a PM that's just gone in, fresh PM, Mayor of Manchester, got a new Mayor of Manchester. We're outperforming economically any of the city region. So I think we're going to look back and say, that was another moment.
We're definitely having a moment.
We are.
And I'm a very proud Mancunian, born, raised, never worked anywhere else, never went to London, was so fortunate that Social Chain was built here and grew here, so I could stay and build my career.
Where are you from originally?
Mosley.
Oh, right, nice.
Yeah, okay. So I went to uni in Liverpool, so I've not really left the Northwest, but I've managed to do amazing things because of the city. And I am so passionate about it. Last year when Oasis were here, it just felt like a real moment, like an emotional moment.
Yeah.
That I felt incredibly proud just walking around town when they were on, because everyone just felt that energy and that buzz. So I'm hoping that you're right. We'll look back on this.
We will, definitely. I know I'm right. We're in a moment now.
I really hope so.
Going back to that period, it was Manchester, Stone Roses, Happy Mondays, New Order. I'd been a huge Smiths fan, and I just wanted to be part of the scene. That was it. And the 4th of July 1994 was the first event I put on at the Hacienda. And I only did it really to pay some bills. Little did I know that, I sold my businesses a couple of years ago, but when I sold Warehouse Budget, it was the biggest nightclub in the world. And when I sold Park Life, it was the biggest metropolitan festival in the UK. I never thought that would happen.
You went into it just to pay some bills and then ended up with the biggest.
I had a BT bill to pay.
Wow.
And it just spiralled.
What was it though? You must have seen something around ways of putting events on that tapped into what people wanted.
Well, it started off, so before I opened Sankeys in 2000, for between 94 and 2000, I was running student nights. And they were a huge success, with the biggest student nights out there. And I had 3 or 4 a week going. And what I did was all the other student nights were playing like crappy tacky music. So most nights you could guarantee there'd be half an hour of 70s shit with ABBA and stuff like that, and then the last track would probably be House of Pain, Jump Around. So I thought, well, why, I think it was 12 quid to get into the Hacienda at the time, why can't we play that type of music but charge £2 to get in? And I was the first one to do that, and it kind of broke the mould.
So you started your nights.
Yeah.
How quickly did it take off? Was it straight away?
Straight away.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You had queues, turnaways, like...
I mean, the BBC's not there now, but my most popular one was Tuesday nights at Paradise Factory, which is now known as Factory.
Yeah.
Which actually was a gay club, so it was the first straight event that's gone in there. Legal capacity was 600, and we used to get 2,500 people turn up, queuing around the corner floor for around the BBC. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
Times.
And people just were like, I feel a little bit like we need it now, sort of craving that little bit of an escape. I was talking about this before. I work so hard, but every now and then I need a big release. Like I need to do something where I feel like I'm completely free. Part of that is going. I love to.
Do you know what mine is?
On,
so I also have to have things to look forward to.
Yeah.
And this morning, you're going to laugh at me now, because seeing off like raves and all the like rock and roll stuff, I'm going to see Spider-Man on Saturday.
Is that your release?
That's my thing. Yeah, me
Is
and Demi, we've got a babysitter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to the Everyman though? Because that's
of course I am.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you're going to do it, you've got to do it
I'm not going to a
properly.
normal one.
No, you've got to do it where you can have wine. But I feel like we need that now. Like that must have been what people needed at the time.
It was. And do you know what? I'm seeing a pattern that's emerging, and I really welcome this pattern. And again, we'll probably get on to why I sold Warehouse Budget and Park Life a bit later on. But I really like now the fact that we've gone full circle again. People that go clubbing want smaller capacity, 500 capacity, dark, intimate rooms, none of this dickhead filming and stuff that kills the atmosphere. And we're seeing it. We see huge successes like the White Hotel, Sankeys has come back, and that is what people want now.
Yeah. Do you think phone bans is the way to go?
I do.
Yeah.
I've always thought that.
I agree. I think it stops people feeling free. I am so grateful that when I was 17, 18 and I was going out in Oldham, because I went to school in Oldham.
Yeah.
So where I went was Oldham. A lot of my friends were on that.
Tokyo Project,
yeah. And also it was Liquid and Envy.
Nice.
Thank God there was no phones at that time.
Do you know what I think about? So my favourite warehouse venue was Store Street.
Okay, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
That was head and shoulders the best.
Yeah.
And I think about like 2009 when David Guetta was at his absolute peak. And the hype that you'd have before he came on was incredible. Everybody would know, because you produce your set list, so everyone would know he's on at 12. So at 20 to 12, you go for your wee, you go and get your beer.
You know what you're doing.
Or your vodka, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're back on the dance floor. And literally, we would build up the energy like, David's in the building, he's backstage. And then it's like 5 minutes. And then you do your 60-second countdown on the screen. Then he walks on. And if you could bottle that energy, you would solve the world's problems. Honestly, you cannot experience that. Now I see it. Like I saw Calvin Harris open, I'm sure it's a Schweier in Dubai. So he would have got paid
fortune.
$1.5 million probably. and no one was dancing. He came out. It was there were the phones. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I love it when I go somewhere and you don't. I'm a member at Soho House, and one of the reasons for that is because you're not allowed your phone.
Yes.
You can't. There's no one in. You can't take photos. I just feel like it's so much calmer.
Yeah.
And
you can't take your laptop either, which is good.
You can't do video calls now.
Yes.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
It's not because you're not sat next to someone who's having a chit chat about their KPIs. I don't.
Do you know what? I did it. So Demi and I went for a meal in our favourite hotel actually in London. They've got a new Italian restaurant there. And the two of us were sat there, and okay, it was lunch, but the guy on the next table had his laptop out, was making phone calls, and I was trying to have a nice romantic meal, and he's like banging on his laptop and stuff. And I went on social saying, no, that's not cool. You know, if you're in Pret or somewhere like that, then fine.
Yeah. But if you're in a nice restaurant, you need
not in a nice restaurant. And it was 50-50 actually. People were saying,
Really?
well, if he's paying the same as what you're paying, let him get on with it and do it. So I was quite surprised.
No, I do like that policy in there. And I do think that we need it for nightlife. I think
Definitely.
Why do you think it? Do you think it's Gen Z worrying so much about what people will see online?
Social media have killed it.
Yeah.
That's it. TikTok, Insta.
For the fear of going viral for the wrong reasons.
All the right reasons. Everybody wants the big moment. Oh, look at me. I was like, it's just, come on.
How do you market now without doing that? So if you've got no phones, how do you get...
Well, I mean, that is the argument. People are saying we're getting free advertising.
Yeah.
Which you are. But maybe it's an 8. Maybe I'm just becoming an old crank. Another one that really pisses me off, doggy poo bags.
You said this to me. You messaged me the other day about doggy poo bags on trees. That doesn't happen round by me.
I'm on a mission. I'm on a real mission.
I don't get doggy poo bags on trees.
I can't say I know the PM now, so I need to talk to him about this. Where I live on a country lane, and people are. I mean, I don't understand what's going through their head. They let the dog poo on the floor. They then go in the pocket, take the doggy poo bag out, get it, tie a knot in it, then hang it on the tree.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
At Christmas time, it looks like I've got like all these, Christmas decorations that are frozen up. They're not. It's dog shit, and it really, really winds me up.
You're never far from a bin.
Exactly.
I'm a dog owner. You're never far from a bin. Just carry it and put it in the bin.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I don't witness that. So we'll go back. So you started the first night. They were sold out. At what point did it? Because it was already taken off.
Yeah.
But when did you think I'm going to really do something with this? Because at first you were paying your bills, so it wasn't a business plan as such, I'm guessing.
But you know what? I was useless to begin with money.
Okay.
Because I was young. I was like 22, 23 and making a couple of £1,000 a week or something like that. But I was spending £2,100 a week. So I learned a lot in those first few years. But the first step up, the first big step up was there used to be like a minor theme park in Manchester called Granada Studios.
Yeah, I remember.
Stone's throw from here. And I put New Year's Eve on there, 97 and 98. 96, 97 and 98, selling 4,500 tickets. The first, I think it was 39 quid actually, but the first year was a nightmare because I hadn't counted the tickets correctly. And it was in the days when you weren't really selling electronically on over the internet or anything.
Yeah.
You had physical tickets all over the place. So I'd have them in Blackburn, Bury, Burnley, Sheffield. And I'd phone them all up to say, we're sold out, stop selling. Every single one of them carried on selling. So I actually sold 5,300 tickets. And I was so scared Granada were going to go mad because they had turnstiles to actually count everybody coming in. I don't know if you remember that.
Well, no, yeah, but did everyone turn up as well?
Everyone turned up. But my mate, the electrician who was working, did a mini power cut on them at like 10:30. So
what, to let people in? On the turnstiles?
Yeah, that was it. So it didn't count them in.
God, you were lucky with health and safety there.
Yeah, also...
Can you imagine the overcrowding?
I'd be screwed.
You would have been screwed.
Yeah, screwed. I also got a call from security that night to say, can you come to the security lodge? We need to have a conversation about doing something. There's CCTV all over there. They have coronation troops. You could go into like the literally Coronation
Yeah,
Street,
they did.
Sherlock Holmes Studio, Baker Street, and we had to take the decision to throw a couple who were having sex in Jack and Vera's backyard out of Corrie. But they weren't shy, they weren't embarrassed, they were actually really made up.
Yeah, I bet they were.
Yeah.
I bet they probably went in to do that. They had the
Yeah,
plan.
no, they did,
Yeah.
definitely.
Gosh. So was that the kickstart of you thinking,
That was the
right,
kickstart.
I've got a business here.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. What was next?
Sankeys.
Okay.
So Sankeys actually opened 94 to 98,
Right.
but was closed because of guns, drugs. It was a rough scene. So I had a call from a business rival called David Vincent, and he said, "Why don't we open Sankeys together?" He was running all the Ministry of Sound franchises
Yep.
at the Hacienda, so he had that market cornered, and I had all the students boxed off.
Yeah.
So let's come together and do this.
Yeah.
And we did it 2000, 2006. And looking back, actually, out of all the venues, that was probably my most favourite.
Was it?
Yeah.
How did you manage the gangs?
We had a call to say, "You've been petrol bombed. You need to come down to the club." So I was like, okay, fine. And we turned up, and there was a car park at the back of Sankeys. Sankeys is an old mill. There was a car park at the back with a generator in the back there. And the generator's surrounded by a metal fence. And the previous security team, and I can say that now, because most of them are dead, previous security team that we'd said no to, you can't be doing this door for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
They jumped over, put this mattress in, poured petrol all over it, set it alight. The generator blew up.
Wow.
But what they didn't know was because it was an old mill,
Yeah.
we lived off our own generator inside the mill. So Ancoats, the first night, we were raving. Everything was great. Ancoats was in pitch black.
So you were fine.
We were
up,
fine.
and
Yeah.
and that had all gone.
Yeah.
Did you have good relationships with the gangs? You must have had to, mustn't you?
With the gangs?
With the gangs. You must have had to have some sort of relationship to keep it.
I could have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
But, they were not nice people at all. They were, just the worst. And then the GMP, Grace Manchester Police, took hold of them probably about 2003, 2004, and just completely wiped them all out. So most of them now are either dead or in prison.
It still goes on though, doesn't it?
One thing that I really didn't enjoy towards the end of Warehouse Projects, and Part of Life, when you look back in those days, where the gangs were Salford, Moss Side, Cheetham Hill,
Yeah.
they kept themselves really.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they were gentlemen, but they wouldn't bother people, normal people on the streets. But these days you've got little scroats running around with knives and like,
I know.
how have we got to
There was
this?
a stabbing in midday, wasn't there,
There
last
was.
week?
How have you got that?
I know.
How if even now, if I'm driving around and there's a police car driving behind me, I'm checking I'm doing 30. If I do 31, I shit myself. And I'm so respectful to the way I see them speaking to authorities.
Absolutely not. But they've been brought up like that's the.
Do you think that's it? Do you think it's down to parents?
I think it's down to experience as well. I think it's how that communities are treated.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I think that their respect only comes from being respected, and I'm not sure that's there.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. It is horrible.
There was one year at Part Life where this is why we had to stop selling cans. They came in and we were searching everybody, like really strict ones, the metal detector ones and everything. Yeah. So to bypass it, they came in, they bought beer, ripped the cans in half and used those as blades and attacked each other. And then it's in the Manchester Evening News. And,
and then you get it.
I get it.
Yeah,
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
If that's what you're dealing with.
I like living in my own little safe bubble in Soho House. Okay, so Sankeys, best time. Why was it the best time? Why? Looking back.
It was the best time. There was hardly any social media. I hadn't put my head above the parapet. And just everyone was there for the music, really. It was just a good time. Even the way the DJ box was positioned was not in an obvious place. You weren't dancing looking at the DJ. There was no ridiculous LED screen or pyrotechnics. Yeah. People were turning up with vinyl and playing the music. Nice. And it was just nice.
I was born a few years too late for all that. But I wish I was born a bit earlier because I would have had the best time. I know I would have had the best time. You said about putting your head above the parapet. At what point did you do that and why?
I became quite vocal probably 2013, where sadly someone lost their lives at Warehouse Project. When he was at Victoria Warehouse, he was a guy called Nick Bonney. And obviously you don't know the time, which you have to wait for the autopsy, but he'd taken a serious amount of drugs and became poorly on site. We got him to hospital, but very sadly, he didn't make it. And the PR company at the time said to me, hey, just keep your head down. We'll put a two sentence statement out. And I thought, I'm not having that. Somebody's died, someone that attended my event. And we did have a conversation in the office that week. Should we now pull the Warehouse Project? Is that the end of it? Because it was everywhere.
Where were you on that line?
I debated it hard, and ultimately what I came up with, and I think is the right answer, that we gave Nick a fighting chance because we had the security, the sniffer dogs, the paramedics, the ambulances. We got him to hospital. If Warehouse Project hadn't existed, he would still have gone out and partied, and there's probably a good chance he wouldn't have had the support there. But I took it a step further, and I thought to myself, you know what, there are kids dropping left, right and centre all over the UK, if not Europe and the States. Let's use this extremely sad incident as an example, and let's raise this with government. And I called a press conference, and my PR company were livid about it. I called a press conference 3 days later at the Malmaison, and the room was full of people, and I felt, looking back, I felt like they were vultures, if I'm being honest. And I'd said to them, look, we've got TV here, we've got the print, we've got radio. Help me put my word out that we need, you're never going to beat drugs. It's not going to happen. You know, if you're getting drugs into a category A high security prison like Strangeways, what am I supposed to do with the field? You know, you can't. So anyway, we did all the interviews and everything. It was the first time I'd done something like that. I was very, very nervous. And then the following day, my mum was walking through Altrincham, you know, the sandwich boards outside, newsagents, Manchester Evening News, big bold letters, Super Club Death Boss speaks out. I'm like, come on.
So they'd taken what you wanted to do to help people and turned it into an attack on
attack on me. It was like on me personally. So I thought, well, fuck all of you. We contacted every major DJ, like everyone, Calvin Harris, David Guetta, Fatboy Slim, said, right, as an industry, let's come together, spread the word. And we did it. And we got back of house drug testing past the line. But that was the first time I was quite vocal. During COVID, I was never off television. You know, it's like thanks. You know, most mornings, because it's all Zoom.
It was. And it was because it had affected your world so much.
It had. And I had all these people phoning me up, like crying, what do we do, what do we do? So, I mean, most mornings I was literally in my pyjama bottoms and I had my shirt on.
Like the rest of the country.
Yeah, the top half. And I remember, because that was a 2-year battle, that was a really tough battle. And, you know, I was the one that took a horrible little man, Matt Hancock, to court. I got him to drop the 10 p.m. curfew. I got him to drop the substantial meal. I mean, the whole thing's ridiculous when you look back at it.
It was a weird time, wasn't it?
It was. Do you want me to tell you how we won the substantial meal?
Please do.
So at the time, there were 1,806 wet-led pubs in Greater Manchester. They're pubs that don't serve any food. And when you dig down into it, the vast majority of those are in our most deprived areas.
Yeah.
So our argument at the High Court was, well, how come I could go into Altrincham with Demi? It's table service, but I can sit, I can have a sandwich, I can have a beer, I can see mates at other tables, shout, wave at them, but people in our most deprived areas couldn't. And that's how we won that case.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a class case.
And I bet you saved quite a few pubs there.
Did?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I honestly remember having a conversation with them and say, you know, when we come out of lockdown, it's going to be a bit weird because I think people might recognise me and stuff like that from the telly in a nice way. It was just the opposite.
Was it?
Yes.
So you're just getting the backlash on everything.
The amount of shit I got. I remember there was one night where a guy, because we'd moved Parklife that year from June to September, and there was this ridiculous rumour on Twitter, that's now a cesspit, that we were serving bottles of water for £8 or something like that, or £5. We don't sell them for £2.50, right? Cheaper than most of the arenas here. So I don't know why, but they jump on that. And then this one guy said, if I see you at Parklife, I'm going to put my foot on your neck. So I clicked on his profile and there were two guys with their shirts off, tops off. And one of them was all right. The other one on the left was really puny. So I said to him, if you're the one on the left, make sure you do some press-ups before you try and put your foot on my neck. That was it. I was done for body dysmorphia, and it went turbo. It's like, hang on a second. I've only pointed out he's weedy. Yeah. This is the guy that wants to...
He's just threatened my life.
Yes.
And I've just said he needs to be a bit stronger if he wants to... Yeah.
But it is...
It's horrendous. I think when your intentions are to help people, but then you get the backlash, why have you carried on? Because you keep going and you're still doing it and you're still putting your foot up the parapet.
But do you know what? Now it doesn't bother me.
What was it, the switch? What stopped it?
Oh, it's just relentless.
You just ignore it.
It's coming from every angle.
So there's just nothing. The volume has just drowned it out.
Yeah. But I always think, if I walk into... Because I know I'm Marmite. If I walk into a room, there's 100 people and 75 people think I've done good for Greater Manchester. Amazing. Amazing.
I know that, because I'm very good friends with the Feel Good Club girls, obviously, no, we're not together, but when they were closing the coffee shop, I know how grateful they were just to have your support. And I think as soon as you know that you've got someone in your corner who will fight, you're not, as you say, you're Marmite, but you make a good noise and you talk a lot of sense and you support people when they need it. Yeah. And I know they've really felt that.
That's good.
Yeah, because it's like... Everyone starts a business because they've got a bit of a passion or a dream for something. Yeah. And then where it ends up, once it starts growing or stuff that they can't control, you're in a position then that you're like, your dream is now shattered because of circumstances that you can't control. Yeah. Obviously, we'll talk about Andy because Andy's made a couple of changes already, but I want to talk about the future of hospitality. What else is he going to do? Because he's made a start, but how much can he affect and how much can he help? But let's go back to your journey. So you opened Sankeys, and then when did the warehouse project start then?
So there was a big event that triggered warehouse project.
Yeah.
So during the years at Sankeys, a film was made called 24 Hour Party People.
Yep.
Have you seen it?
I've not seen it, but I know what it's about.
Watch it after you've read my book.
Steve Coogan, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Steve Coogan. So they were filming it around the corner from Sankeys. And myself and my business partner at the time, David Vincent, were given tickets to go there. And they'd literally had rebuilt the Hacienda brick by brick. I mean, it was weird.
Was it surreal?
Really surreal. Because the Hacienda never had a goodbye party. Just the bailiffs went in middle of the week and shut it. So all the old heads were there. But the thing I'll never forget is, as we turned up that night, they were filming a scene where there's like 500 people queuing outside waiting to get into the Hacienda. Yeah. And a taxi would pull up. Steve Coogan would get out, playing Anthony Wilson. Yeah. And he was supposed to walk into the club. They had to do it five. So myself and Dave were stood on the other side of the road in a bus stop watching this. They had to do it 5 times. Because every time the taxi pulled up and he got out, someone in the queue went, aha! And that's it.
He's still one of the funniest programmes ever.
So, we went in there. And that night we were saying, do you know, we should actually come back tomorrow or next week and see whether they can do some parties in the Hacienda again. It would be brilliant.
Wow. And
we went back and they completely knocked it down. So it just left these 2 really industrial warehouses. So like, do you know what? Let's just do some parties in here anyway. Yeah. So John Major had kiboshed all illegal and legal warehouse parties. Mm-hmm. And if you put one on, you could take your sound system straight away. You could actually end up in prison. So I went to Manchester City Council, I've got this idea. I want to put 12,000 people in these 2 warehouses. They supported the idea.
Did they?
Yeah. So I got the first legal warehouse party back after John Major stopped them. And it sold out straight away.
I bet.
It was amazing.
As always, a huge thank you to the podcast sponsor, We Are the Allies. And I am so lucky that I've got CEO and founder Pav with me to tell us a little bit more about what the Allies actually does.
So Allies is a network of creative freelancers. So we have over 500 freelancers and 46 creative categories, working alongside lots and lots of advertising agencies, direct clients that have got in-house creative departments. We plug into agencies and clients. So if they have a gap in knowledge or, they need a certain type of expertise, then they come to the Allies to support them with that. We've been going for 7 years now. So it's founded by myself, Rick, my husband, who is the ECD, and then Polly, our daughter. So it's a family business, which is lovely. We cover all of the UK, and we've got talent up and down the country as well. We've even got talent in Canada and New York and places like that now, which is great.
So Pav, I've got a creative brief. I need the best creative director. I need a bit of a strategist. I need a photographer. Where can I find you?
You can find us on our website. So that's wearetheallies.com, or you can give us a call. We take briefs on email or via the phone. Yeah, that's how you can get hold of us.
So that thing of needing a release, everyone needs something that they can feel like they can have a moment where they're not in their own head.
Something I'll never forget there was I had 84 license conditions because everyone was looking at that license.
I bet they were.
And anyway, licensing turned up within 3 hours of the doors opening. I did a big walk around. It's like, yeah, everything's fine. Just one thing though, we asked you to have some sniffer dogs on the front door. Where are your sniffer dogs? I'm like, do you know what? You're absolutely right. I've completely, I'm so sorry. I was running this big thing by myself. So I phoned up Ratty, who had the security company, who'd put 128 guys on that day. I phoned him up and was like, he's not his real name's not Ratty, by the way, Tony Ratcliffe. I was like, he's from Wigan as well. I was like, Ratty, where are these sniffer dogs? He's like, don't worry, love. They'll be down in half an hour. Half an hour went past, nothing. At this point, Ratty's not answering his phone. So phoned his right-hand guy, Dave Paul. I was like, Dave, where are these sniffer dogs? He's like, right, I've got them. I'm on my way within 45 minutes. I was like, well, come on. It's ridiculous. So anyway, an hour later, I went to the front door. Dave Paul stood there. And I looked at him. I looked at the floor. I'm like, they're not sniffer dogs, are they? Oh, what do you mean? I said, Dave wants a fucking Pomeranian. Right. I said, what's going on here? Because licensing will come down again. These little fluffy things are like looking at me.
Trained to sniff out trees.
No, Ratty had made Dave Paul drive around Wigan and just pick up random dogs from gardens and bring them down to me. I don't know what happened to those dogs to this day. I just don't know what,
Whether they got back to their owners.
How'd you get it from Hancock's back to Wigan? So, yeah, nightmare. But we managed to pull it off. But that sowed the seed of warehouse projects.
Yeah.
The warehouse parties, very raw, very industrial. And 2006, Bonningson's Brewery was like, we're going to make it happen here.
And again, did you have a plan for it? Or was it just, right, I can see a moment now. I'm going to do it another one. Or did you think, right, this is going to be the biggest?
The idea was, it was a project. So the idea was just to run 24 events. And that was it. That's the end of it. It's just like a one-off project. But we sold 100,000 tickets almost immediately. Wow. It was like, well, we need to carry on with this.
And then how long did you have it for?
I decided to sell it in 2021. But I had to stay on for 3 more years.
Okay.
Which wasn't pleasant, to be honest.
What was the decision to sell? What was it? Was there a point where you were like, I've done all I can with this, or I knew what the goal was?
It was that, but also I think I'd taken it as far as I possibly could. And it just felt like a job. The enjoyment had gone.
Yep.
And I'd had enough of like hangers on and it was just getting all too much. And everything, it was all just selling out. So you could only go one way at that point. So as a business decision, it was the right time to sell it.
I think there's power in quitting. Yeah. I know there's been a lot of talk, like I think Steve said it before about the power of quitting. But I did it when I was at Social Chain. I knew that we were growing. We continued to grow. Every year we were growing. But I got to the point where I felt like I was done. I couldn't take it to the next level. It was successful. I could have, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And it's that, isn't it? It's that internal desire to want to do it, to know that I only think that things grow like that when there's an authentic why behind the people leading it. And then at that point, if it's not there, then it stalls.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. So you sold that.
Sold it in March 24.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Was the dream always to sell it?
Always.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was to get it to that point and sell it on?
Yeah, and I get criticised for this, but I don't like techno music. Quite like house music. Not into techno, not into drum and bass, not into grime. It was a business. My thing is Manchester music. I love Manchester music. David Bowie, Prince. That's Michael Jackson. It's not popular to say, but love Michael Jackson. Saw him 3 times. But yeah, that's where my head's at.
And then Park Life was the same time?
So both on the same day.
Both on the same day.
Yeah.
Same. You sold them to the same place, didn't you?
Live Nation.
Yeah. And you had the same clauses in there that you had to work it for the same amount of time. What did it feel like on that day when you handed it over and just walked away?
Over the moon.
Were you?
We were driving. The deal completed actually a few days before we expected. And we'd been to Scotland to see Demi's mum. We were driving back. And Tom, my lawyer, phoned me up to say, just so you know the deal's gone through. I'm like, has it? Like, I was at T-Base Services. Like, really? I said, yeah, it's gone through. Check your bank account.
Wow.
It's like, oh shit, yeah, it has.
Gosh.
Yeah. So
how much of your identity though was tied to it? Because you were that. That's what you were known for. You were known for having the warehouse project. You were known for Park Life.
But I think...
Did you take a while to adjust?
No.
No.
Not at all. I think my identity was already transferring out of that because during the COVID period that we spoke about, I started to become quite political. So I think people started to talk to me a bit more about that than warehouse and Park Life.
What's been your proudest thing?
Well, I mean, I'm supposed to say, because you'll watch this, I'm supposed to say getting married to Demi and Lowen.
Yes.
Obviously.
So
my third proudest thing would probably be when we were in lockdown. I know so many people are in, a real shitty mess, especially freelancers. And Andy asked me it's like, what can we do to entertain people in the homes? I don't know if you remember, there were 2 illegal raves in Manchester. There was one in, I think it was Carrington or Partington. I
do remember.
Then one in Oldham.
Yeah.
And the one in Oldham, I think, was 5,000 people, and some kid was stabbed and someone died. Obviously, no security, no paramedics. And he was really worried about that. I was like, well, I can't really bang up a stage in Eden Park because we're all in lockdown.
Yeah, you couldn't really
and this was the real point of lockdown. Yeah. So I saw this thing that was happening in Berlin called United We Stream. And I thought, this is really, really great. And I phoned Andy up, and I remember being stood in my garden. I was like, right, I've got this idea. Explain it to him. It's like, yeah, great, what do you need from me? So he will admit he didn't have a clue what I was talking about. I said to him, look, we just need a space that I'll go in and work out how we can do this socially distanced. So the Met in Bury gave him the keys to the theatre. And I put a crew of people together very quickly. Andy gave us all letters if you've been stopped by the police to say, look, they're entertaining people, blah, blah. And we had the stage at Bury, and we started streaming entertainment every Friday. I don't know if you ever saw it, but every Friday.
I was doing quizzes on my friends, boring.
Every Friday and Saturday.
I was probably drunk, to be fair. I was drunk for a lot of COVID.
Yeah, I was too. But we had big names, like huge names, like Carl Cox and New Order and people like that. So, and I said to everyone when we were streaming, look, it's completely free to watch this, completely free. But if you can spare £1 or something, a third's going to the homeless, a third's going to Nordoff Robbins, and the balance we're going to give to like freelancers and independents across Greater Manchester. And we raised £612,000, and we had 20.4 million people watching it over that period. And that's the one thing that I'll always look back on.
Yeah, with you should be very proud. Like, but again, it's you seeing something that that people need.
Yeah.
It's like the escapism. You need that escapism, and that's what you've created your career around.
Yes.
Is creating experiences for people to live outside of the normal day to day.
I remember the first one, my phone blew up, and it was that moment when I think everything came together. Do you remember it was quite hot, it was sunny.
So hot.
And
It was a great summer.
it was, wasn't it? Yeah. And I think we were on the back of a really shitty week where Hancock and Boris was coming out saying, it's ramping up the curve. And everyone was so depressed. I think people put the laptop down, and I'd put on a Hacienda party on the Saturday, 12-hour Hacienda party. I don't know how, but people like Gary Lineker was texting me. It was the first time I got in contact with Andrew Rain, who was texting me. I'm like, how have people got my number? And they're all going, this is fucking amazing. This is brilliant. And yeah, it just went crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. But you're right. Demi and I were drinking a lot of rosé during that period.
I had a lot of rosé.
Whispering Angel.
Yeah. I think I was on Whispering Angel at that point.
There was this
I'm a Miraval girl now.
There was one day where I did a pre-record. I'll never forget it, for Granada TV. And the pre-record you do a few hours before, as you know, and it was on at 6 o'clock. So I thought, well, I'll watch this one then. And I sat there and I was like, oh, God. I said to Debbie, it's like, my face looks really chubby on that, doesn't it? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, I look like a gerbil. She said, that's what you look like. What do you mean? And then I went to weigh myself, like, oh, my God.
I used to go for the walk, so you could do your walk. I used to walk to get cake because I didn't have the dog at the time, so I needed a reason to walk. So I just walk, get cake, and come home.
Yeah.
So I think all of us. You either got really fit or really fat.
Yeah. I did manage to do both.
You did both. Yeah. Got fat then fit.
Fat then fit. But do you remember this I remember going to, it was a bit posh. We had a Boots at the time.
Oh, that is posh.
Around the corner from us. It's going to be a Waitrose, actually.
Still posh.
Yeah. So I would go in there because Demi does suffer a bit from asthma. Not bad. As a kid, she did. And I was literally wearing marigolds while I was walking around there. Then I'd bring everything back and she'd be like stood in the kitchen disinfecting a cucumber.
It was just bizarre. I don't think we'd never agree to it again, would we?
Not a chance. There is no way
the government behaved, to be honest. But
I know, and I am not a conspiracy theorist, but there's no way any of us would go through that again.
No,
not a chance.
We just wouldn't agree to it. We wouldn't.
But that's what made Andy King of the North.
Through COVID.
Yeah, that was it.
We'll get on to Andy.
Okay.
So Andy is Andy Burnham. We're just saying Andy. It's like when I say Gary, I'm always like Gary, and Stefan's always like Gary Neville. I'm like, yes, Gary Neville. So Andy Burnham, our Prime Minister.
Our PM.
How does it feel?
It's crazy. Even last night we went for a bite to eat near us, and we pulled into the car park, and I said, I was listening to LBC, and I was like, it's starting to annoy me now. Every time I turn the radio on, they're talking about Andy. And Demi Surround's like, well, he is the PM. It's like, yeah, but it just doesn't feel like that.
It feels weird. It feels like we're all quite close. You are closely connected to him. Like you're one connection removed. Like I'm like a few connections removed, but it feels like he's the closest Prime Minister that we've ever had to us. Like
by far.
Real.
By far.
Yeah.
And that's why I said this is going to be our Manchester moment. Because we've now, for the first time ever, got a PM that does give a toss about Manchester, Greater Manchester.
Yeah. And the fact that we've got number 10 of the North. I'd not been in town, and I came into town and I thought, oh my God, the Prime Minister's actually here. That's so mad. Yeah. But again, being an incredible, proud Mancunian, like how amazing for us.
Yeah.
What is it going to do for us? It's going to do some amazing things. Like the tourist industry is going to change completely for us.
I mean, even if, when he was mayor, just look back in the last 12 months and events, and events bring millions into the city region. When Parklife was on, forget what happened at Heaton Park, we bring 13 million into the local economy with its hotels, taxis, new outfits, bars, restaurants. This year we've had MTV Europe.
Yeah.
We've had the MOBO Awards. We've had the Brit Awards, first time ever outside of London. It's going to happen again next year. And it's like...
The Brits are back next year?
Yeah, they're back.
There you go.
Oh, I don't know if that's in the public domain, actually.
I don't think it is.
Oh, isn't it?
I don't know if it
Just
is.
bleep that out.
We'll have to bleep it. Don't cut it. Just bleep it.
I mean, never in our wildest dreams would we have thought that was possible.
Well,
Even
Chanel
10 years.
in the Northern
Yeah.
Quarter.
My mum nicked my scarf, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she did.
Good on you, Mum. I would
know.
as well.
But yeah, I mean, that Chanel thing, again, you know, I talk about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
But I was literally stood next to Hugh Grant. Like, how on earth did we get here?
In Manchester.
You know, I'm just a guy that got 2 U's and an E at A level, didn't go to university, put some raves on. 2 weeks ago, I stood outside number 10 on Downing Street.
I know.
How
What was it like the day he got? Is it sworn in? What is it when he got made prime minister? What was it like?
Do you know what?
You
I've
were
actually
there.
I got goosebumps then. So I went down the night before because I had to do Sky early in the morning and then LBC, and I walked back to the hotel because they recorded it at Millbank, which is right next door to Parliament. Walked back to the hotel, and I put my suit on. I was like, "This is surreal." I could hear helicopters in the air, and then I just walked down and walked into Downing Street, and I was with my friend who's leader of used to be leader of Oldham, Aru Shah, who's lovely, and we turned up slightly late, and we're both at the back of the queue. And we walked through, and you can't see it, but the security to the left as you get through the gates is like airport security on steroids.
Oh,
It really is. It's like super. So we went through, and we just, because we were late, we were quite at the tail end. So quite a distance from the door. And then one of his team clocked us and said, no, you need to come and stand at the front. I was like, this is just absolutely bonkers.
You're part of history.
And then
How was your imposter syndrome then?
I FaceTimed Demi from outside number 10 door. And
Like
she,
a tourist.
yeah, and she loves Sophie Ridge
Yeah.
and Beth Rigby off Sky.
Yeah.
So I ran over to the other side and said, Sophie, say hello to my wife. She's like, hello. And he's like, what an idiot. But yeah, do you know what? So proud of him. So proud of him. And Mary France as well. And I have to touch on this because he's worked for that for years and years and years. He first tried, I think it was 2010, then 2015. He's now our Prime Minister. Mary France has got an unbelievably good job in her own right. When she got out of that car, she looks absolutely stunning.
It was horrendous what happened.
Worse than horrendous. And I talk about trolls that I get. The jealousy against Mary France was appalling. It was disgusting. She looked phenomenal. She gave me a hug. Like, she had clearly had her makeup done and everything, and her hair for the occasion. And you don't just pick a dress like that. Oh,
No.
my husband's going to be PM. I'm going to walk down the street.
I'm just going to wear whatever.
The world's press are looking at me. I'll go to Zara 6 o'clock the night before. No, she'd clearly worked out what she's going to wear. And then all hell broke loose. And, I follow her on Instagram, and she couldn't give a shit.
Have you spoken to her? Is she fine?
We've been
'Cause-
messaging.
Yeah.
But she put a comment on her Instagram about it. She grows, she's head above all those people.
Yeah.
And she's the First Lady of the United Kingdom.
Honestly, though, Sacha, it is what we have to deal with. You constantly, as a woman, you've got to think 10 steps ahead about
Yeah.
your appearance, not your achievement. The first thing is, how do they look?
Yeah.
Does it fit? Does it not fit? So it's horrendous that she got that, but I'm not surprised, which is really sad.
Do you know what surprised me, actually? And I studied it for an hour or so. We both studied, actually. And what really surprised me was the vast majority of negativity were from women.
Women.
That's
No.
what I can't get my head around.
No.
And all this.
Do you know why? It's because we are built to compare.
It's really poor.
Everything is a comparison. So you will see that and comment on that because it'll make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
That's why people do it. And it's horrendous. My mum always taught me to treat people like you want to be treated. And I can't imagine anyone of those trolls wanting to be treated like that.
But you know what? They're all sat. She was walking down Downing Street.
I know.
They're all sat in the back bedroom
I know.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
Even yesterday, I said it before we came on air. We went for a meal. Then we went for a wee, and I'm not allowed to look at my phone when we go
Good.
out.
Presence. I've talked about presence on the podcast. I think presence is the most important thing.
It's very annoying, especially when you feel it vibrate.
You got to put it on do not disturb.
No, I can't do that. I need to know it's still alive. So she went for a wee, and I had a very quick look on it, and he was stood at the White Cliffs of Dover yesterday talking about immigration, looking really slick in a nice suit and shirt. He got crap for that.
Yeah.
You know, the last 2 weeks, people are going, you've not said anything about immigration. You've said nothing about immigration. He did that last night, and the same people going, we made you do that. We made you talk about immigration. Like,
you can't win. That's what I've realised. Having worked with people in the public eye, you will never win.
No.
And it's all about doing what is right for you. He's done, we were discussing this a little bit before we started recording, the amount that he's done in a short space of time is crazy.
Yeah.
The impact that he's made so far. You did a tweet on it, didn't you? In the first 10 days, he's done all of these things.
But did you see how much negativity we got from that?
Yeah, it was crazy.
So normally I'll tweet something and I'll get a few hundred likes or something, but I'll get maybe a dozen to 15 comments. I got 2,200 comments, and the vast majority of those comments were talking about illegal immigrants. He's been in his job for 10 days.
But that's because of the narrative. Have you read the book by Rory Sutherland?
Yes, I really like him.
Yeah, oh, he's good.
Yeah.
Have you seen him present?
No.
You need to. He's one of the best presenters, best public speakers I've ever seen. And I'm just starting to read it. And he talks about, this is why reform and why people like Donald Trump work and why Boris worked, because that unpredictable person is not logical.
Yes.
So you don't know if they're actually going to do what they say.
Yep.
So then that attracts attention, and then that gets people following them.
Yeah.
And it's more like you can have all the data in the world, but if you've got someone like that, that's going to win out. And it's not logical.
It's not.
But it's what happens. Yeah, Rory's definitely worth a watch if you can ever see him.
I've read his book. He's a funny guy. Actually.
He is a funny guy, yeah.
But even the first announcement, sorry to go back to this.
No.
I'm on my soapbox now. First announcement was slashing VAT on electricity bills. And it was like, 45 quid, nice one.
I saw it.
Well,
I can afford a coffee a week now, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a fortunate position where 45 quid, you know, it's not going to make a huge difference to us. But go knock on someone's door in Makerfield where he's spent weeks and weeks trying to get their votes and ask them what 45 quid means to them. It's a week's shop.
Yeah.
And then capping buses at £2. Then was like, oh, bloody buses. He's obsessed with buses. Well, if you get a bus to and fro work Monday to Friday, you've saved 500 quid a year.
Yeah.
So you're up by 550 quid. And he's only been sat behind his desk for 2 days.
I know. He has done a hell of a lot. He's put the VAT change in for hospitality.
No business rates.
Oh, business rates.
Yeah,
change.
so it's further 20% discount on pubs, clubs and live music venues.
What impact is that going to have?
Huge. It's not enough. More needs to be done.
I was going to say.
Yeah. But
how?
it
What
is,
else can we... Because is it the fact that people aren't going out?
It's a combination.
Okay, go on, why?
So, firstly, you're right. So 1 in 5 kids, I can call them kids now, young people under the age of 24 don't drink alcohol. Mm-hmm. But places are still busy. If you go into Manchester the weekend, packed, they're like heaving. But no one's making any money because we're being taxed, desperately taxed. Every summer, it's happening now. My mates are texting me from Tenerife. I've just bought a pint for €2. Why is it $6.50 in Manchester, which is probably like €8? Well, we're taxed 20 times more than a pint in Germany. That's how much, 20 times more. Rachel Reeves was devastating for our sector. You know, she put the national insurance up.
Yeah.
Since then, we've lost 124,000 jobs in the sector. And when you dig down into that, the vast majority of jobs for 18 to 24-year-olds who will have like a Saturday job in a pub to get them through college or something, those jobs have gone. Business rates she put up, on average, pubs have gone up 76%, hotels 115%. So it's just tax. And I had a really good positive meeting with Andy. I gave him a manifesto document a couple of weeks ago. And, he's done the business rates already, which is great. He needs to reverse the national insurance increase. And we need to bring VAT down in line with the rest of Europe. If he does that, we're flying again.
Do you think he can?
He was asking me the right questions
about
it. And he has previously committed, last February at the NTIA conference in Liverpool, he committed to lower VAT. Yeah. So I just have to hold him to it.
You do?
Yeah, I do, yes.
Because, like we've said, everything that we need is an escapism. You can't have that by sitting in your house.
Yeah.
And we need good food, good music, good drinks, good escape.
Well, and also, it's more day, and he gets this. And he said it when I met him 2 weeks ago. He understands the social value of a pub or a club. It's not just about how much cash it brings for the treasury. It's more important than that. You take those community hubs away, and it's where friendships, relationships are made. It's probably where you find your painter, decorator. Depending on which pub you go to, you could probably buy some stolen meat. But they're they're the places that we love.
It's also for me a space where men's mental health is such a huge deal.
That's the first time we met.
It was?
Yes.
Men's mental health, I think, the local community, pubs. My dad used to go out every Friday with his friends.
Yeah.
And they used to go to the pub at the top of the road. And I'm pretty sure they will have talked absolute garbage, but he will have come back feeling a million times better.
100%.
If that isn't there for the local communities,
yeah,
the bigger impact is less men talking, higher male suicide, which is awful as it is.
Yeah.
Things need to be done to help with that as well.
Well, I know I'm banging on about Andy, but if you watch him, every single interview, have a look at his wrist, and he's wearing a black, what do you call those gummy things?
Yeah, the wristband things.
Yeah, and it's the white text on his Andy's Man Club. So he's
in it. He knows.
Yeah.
What are you excited for with having him? Apart from the fact that you now know the Prime Minister, you saw him at 10 Downing Street, you're seeing the impact he's having. What are you excited for about him being a Manchester Prime Minister?
I am excited for the country, actually, because, and I know I'm biased, but I'm speaking to people of all different, colours of rosettes. But I think he's given us some hope, actually, in the last 2 weeks. It feels like there's energy back in the country again.
I'd agree with that. I feel like that. And I started I went out on my own business 2 years ago, and it is hard.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's so hard. I have to think about all the tax, all the corporation tax, my personal tax, and then I live on my own.
Yeah.
So I've got to pay my mortgage. So people see that I'm out doing this and I can go on holiday and I can do nice things. Doesn't mean it's easy. It's really bloody hard. And I've got to fight every month to make sure that I'm keeping myself afloat.
Yeah.
And I don't know how people are doing that with small companies.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think under Starmer and Reeves, they just didn't get it.
No.
They didn't at all.
Small businesses were not looked after.
Not on the agenda.
There's no incentive for me. My accountant even said to me, there's no point in you earning any more money.
Yeah. Andy's going to be the opposite of that.
I really hope so, because how on earth are we incentivised to build something in this country if you are penalised like we are?
Well, we're in Greater Manchester here, and we're economically outperforming any other city region in the UK. So he's coming with a pretty strong CV.
Good. I hope so. I hope so.
But I think we've already seen it when I talk about the £45 and the £500. He's going to fight for working people. And we've just not had that.
And change.
I
saw what he said about the interviews being on Zoom, or off Zoom. He wants interviews off Zoom, which I completely agree with.
I do, yeah.
However, there's a couple of things to it.
Okay.
I think there needs to be thought around the cost of interviewing.
Yeah.
So, yes, okay, bus price is £2. But when you're going to multiple interviews and you've got to think about childcare, taking time off from your current job, I think there's that.
Very good point.
That actually came from me posting it on my Instagram, and someone replied to me. And I was like, you're very right.
I love that.
So I'd love him to hear that and think about that. And the other thing for me is I've got such a bee in my bonnet about how people are interviewing. Yeah. So from the opposite side of it, I'm all for having interviews in person, but the quality of people and the skills at interviewing are so bad that I think it needs to be looked at in terms of how to get this younger generation clued up on how to interview properly.
Yep.
The use of AI is crazy. They're just putting it in, plugging it in.
I hate it.
And reading it out.
I hate, ChatGPT and all that stuff. It's appalling. I really don't like it.
It's
I
got
mean,
use.
it's funny to, if my mate sends me a picture, I can turn him into a clown. I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing about hospitality. We are like AI proof.
Yes,
really.
you are. You are, because it's human to human.
It's human to human. And those restaurants, I think there's one in Bolton, that are now employing robots to serve your food. Forget it.
I know. It's very Japanese, that though, isn't it?
I hate it.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a restaurant, you want to talk to the person, so you ask them questions, give feedback. That's what hospitality is about. I don't want to be served by some plastic.
What's been the saddest closure that you've hospitality wise? What's hit you the hardest? Because I know mine.
Go on.
I was really sad when Climate shut.
Yes.
Really sad. I
Yeah.
felt like that was such a strong.
We were there 2 weeks before,
Were you?
Yeah, but we weren't surprised because it was not busy.
No. I thought it was such a strong thing for us to have in the north.
Yeah.
So I was sad about that one.
I think the one I'll never forget, I'm not going to mention the name, was I had a call before Christmas from a guy who had a pub in Coventry. And he's like, I'm just going to have to throw my keys back in January. But what really upset him was his marriage was shattered. He'd taken so much debt on, it was crippling him. But the most upsetting thing was he was where his kids had grown up. He lived above the pub. So not only lost his marriage, he'd lost his family home. And I won't forget that. When I look back at Starmer and Reeves, that's the kind of story I won't forget. And that's why I'm going to be constantly on Andy.
This is what I was going to ask you. What's next?
For me,
For you, yeah. Apart from being on Andy.
I mean, we've had some good conversations. We're carrying on having good conversations.
We're going into government.
Do you know what everybody thought? I was going to go and be a politician or something.
The people asked me whether Gary was going to be mayor.
I was asked the same thing.
Yeah.
Demi and I discussed it, but she's like, no, absolutely not. That's not happening.
Why? Because the attention on the family.
Yeah, and he gets a shit, Andy gets. Yeah. So he used to give 15% of his salary to the homeless in Greater Manchester. And it was a manifesto promise. So quite rightly, when you make a promise in your manifesto, you've got to prove that you're doing what you say you're going to do. So once a month, he would post his PAYE slip or his donation to the charity, and just look at the comments. Go back and look. Like, you earn too much. You're showing off. Why being flash? He's giving it like.
Yeah. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, honestly. I believe that as leadership and in general. I think people always look at leaders, whether they're in business or whether they're in a position of power within countries or government, whatever it is, and people expect you, they always think there's another story behind the story, always.
An ulterior motive.
Always.
So
what else is going on?
3 summers ago, I chose a pub in every single borough in Greater Manchester, turned up on a Sunday, and for an hour, put my card behind there.
I saw you did that.
And then bang, did that.
Yeah.
I did the same thing for a chip shop in Blakely that it cost me 13 grand. Chip shop.
Chips?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
In fish and chips.
Oh my God, I bet they were so happy.
Blakely turned up.
I bet they did.
Then a place in Chorlton called the Thirsty Korean. I did it there. That was not far off that bill. And as I said, 75% of the people, like, that's really good. You're supporting, and you're putting your money where your mouth is. But 25% of people, like, you're showing off, you flash. Why have you got to tweet about it? Or like, why? Like, oh, just fuck off.
It is. It's honestly, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It was like that. It's like there is always another story. I'm like, there's no other story. This is the truth. This is as honest as I am. Like, everything. But people always think the worst of leaders.
They do.
Always. So
So
what is next? Come on, give me a little bit more.
Well,
you're having good conversations.
Having good conversations. I am going to carry on those conversations. But so when I sold to Live Nation, there was a clause that I couldn't operate for a period of time.
And how close are we to the end of the clause?
2 years away. So I have been beaving around in the background.
Something's coming.
Something's coming.
Am I going to love it?
I think so, yeah. I'm ready to go again.
I bet.
I am really ready to go again.
I bet.
But do you know what? How many people can say... Because I practically retired at 52. And I thought, do you know what? That's it. I'll just tinker around with a few bits and bobs. Can't do it. I got bored in the first month. But I've had this cloud over me where you can't... I'm not legally allowed to operate.
I feel like your hands are tied then.
Hands are tied.
Yeah. And that makes you want to do it more.
I've done a load of work in the background. I've got a new business partner who's got huge experience, and yeah, ready to go again. But the point I was going to say was how many dads watching this have been in the fortunate position that I've been in to watch their son grow up for the first, it was 21 months now. Amazing.
Yeah.
And everybody says it's going to be life-changing. And I'll be honest, I didn't really want kids. But it was Demi that wanted them. And, you know, you've not met her, but when she says something's happening, it's happening. You know, there's no point arguing.
She's my kind of woman.
Yeah, and she keeps my feet on the ground. You know, I remember leaving Part Life, not 24, but 23, we'd have 50 Cents playing on the Sunday, and it was so intense. And when you leave that festival on the Sunday or the early hours of the Monday morning, the relief that comes out of you when you're driving past the Trafford Centre is phenomenal. Like, you know, you've been on adrenaline for 48 hours and the week leading up to it. And she'd been partying all weekend at Part Life, and I saw her on the Sunday. She was legless, and she left early. And I knew she was in bed as I was driving back, and my phone beeped, and I know you're not supposed to look at it. And I'd literally just been shaking hands with 50 Cent half an hour before, and it's like, tomorrow's bin day, don't forget to take the bins out.
Slap back to reality.
Yeah, it's like but yeah, you know, we've had such an amazing time with Lowen over the last couple of years. We've had so many holidays, and it has changed my life.
Good.
It really has.
I talk a lot about presence, and I think it's something that we get really wrong in when you're running at the speed of light and you've got so many priorities.
Yeah.
And there was an episode of the Jay Shetty podcast that I listened to in lockdown, and he said about presence, and his mum had to work multiple jobs in order to keep the family going.
Yeah.
But he doesn't remember that from childhood. What he remembers is her presence. So when even the short amount of time that he was with her, she was fully in. And I think that's something we can all learn. And when you go into your next thing, have that in your head.
Well, it's
no matter
interesting
how
you
busy
say
it
that.
gets.
Yeah, because I do, you know, when I'm on my laptop at home and I see him stood there looking at me, I just click, you know, it's like he goes to bed at 7 and I'll be on my laptop at 20 to 7 and he's looking at, and I'm like, do you know what?
Yeah.
I can be back on that at 7:05.
Yeah.
So let's just spend time with him.
And definitely when things get busy.
Yeah.
Because things are going to get busy by the sound of things.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 questions that I want to ask. I'm doing a TED Talk in
Saw that.
TEDx. I keep saying TED and it's not, it's TEDx in November. And my topic is all going to be around the fact that we are given so much information and we're taking so much information in, but the actual action you do after it, we just consume, we don't really change our lives that much. So it's a 2-part question. The first is, what's the best advice you've ever been given? And then alongside that is, what is the action that you put in alongside that advice that made a real difference?
The advice that I was given when it was quite clear that I wasn't going to do very well at school was, you know, it doesn't matter. And I was talking about wanting to work for myself and have a business and stuff at school. And the advice I was given was, look, just go for it straight to begin with. When you've not got a mortgage, you've not got kids, you're not married, what's the worst can happen? You shut the business, it doesn't work, we can restart it again. And that's the advice that I always give young people when I go to college or, you know, do my talks. That's it, just throw everything at it to begin with. If it doesn't work, just do it again. There's so many times we put events on that absolutely stiffed. You know, everyone thinks the Wales Project has been this massive success. We've had so many disasters along the way. You know, we did an event in Iceland with the XX where we thought, this is going to smash it. We had a stage in front of a waterfall. Wow. This is brilliant. Yeah, wow, beautiful. Exactly. Yeah. Didn't sell a ticket. Lost 120 rand. You know, it's like, so it's not always worked. But it's just persistence, keep going. And that's something I've always done.
So the action is keep going.
Just keep going. Yeah. And I think also this only applies to people if you want to start a business. Every single person around you, everyone, mums, dads, friends, will tell you don't do it. It's too much of a risk. Ignore them because they're quite happy in their 9-to-5 job. You won't be. Just keep going for it.
Amazing.
But it comes with stress as well. You know, I will never forget being parked in traffic. That's a shock in Manchester, isn't it? Traffic. Being in traffic on Princess Park where I'd left the office. I was on the way home. And I was in my car and I was looking at the lower deck on the bus. And I was thinking at the time, all these people here on the bus have left their 9-to-5 job. They're going to go home. They might go to the pub now. Then they might have the tea on the table and then they're going to watch some telly tonight. They don't need to look at the laptops because they've left work behind.
Yeah.
That's it. It's done until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's not like that running a business. And I was looking at them, looking at me, because I had a bit of a flash car at the time that I had to get rid of when I started working with Andy. And they were probably looking at me thinking, you lucky bastard.
Look at that car. Look at what he's got.
But not understanding the stress that I was carrying with me at the time.
You always want what someone else has got.
Always.
Yeah. Regardless.
Yeah.
I say that about when you work for yourself, you can't take holidays like you did.
No.
Because when you work for someone, you can put your out of office on. You've done all your stuff you need to do. You can leave it behind. You can't do that when you work for yourself because your brain's constantly going. Constantly.
I'll leave here now to sit in my car for 20 minutes, just catching up on emails.
Yeah. Well, I will let you do that. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
I've loved it.
Good.
Huge thank you to We Are the Allies for sponsoring the podcast. We have got some incredible things coming up. So for future episodes, make sure you are subscribed and I will see you again next week.